And you can see the evolution because prior women enlisted were mostly nurses back in World War II.
Auxiliary corps.
Auxiliary corps, very yeah, and you can see the transition of the evolution of women. And trust me, like women that are engineers, they're building bridges. They're not just like no, they're doing the same training as the men are doing, and they are tough. And that's why I like about that aspect is that heroism doesn't have a gender. It doesn't. You can be brave and you can be the smallest thing in the group. Just like you could be a coward, be the biggest guy in the group. And you see that a lot in the military. You're like, yeah, this person has guts and look at his size or look at her size. And what about the female drill sergeant? They're they and you should see them. They're their hair is done, but they can put out some tears in your eyes, and it's like they're tough. They're really really tough, and they got to sing cadences, right? They got to march. They got to make sure that I don't think they're intimidating at the beginning, but they teach you how to be respectful, even if you see them as the common enemy, because that's exactly the job of a drill sergeant is to be the common enemy for 300 people. So it's challenging, but I do like the progression of female in the military. We just interviewed one of them that's on the ROTC program, and she was talking about like how she embraces herself being in the military, and she doesn't see a gender, she just sees a soldier, and that's exactly what we are. At the end of the day, we all are a number in the military, unfortunately. What was the hardest thing for you to transition?
I because I had just gotten back from a deployment, and then like 2 months later, I was 3 months later getting out of the military. The adrenaline of being deployed, and which you don't notice, but then I joke like I'm petrified of heights. So what did I immediately do? Like I started rock climbing. I got a motorcycle after taking a course for a weekend, and I bought a Harley. Like not even like a sport bike. Like I bought a Harley after riding a motorcycle for 3 days and getting a license. And it was like engaging in things that were high risk because of the feeling, because you're at a constant adrenaline high that you even notice because you're right. If you're deployed, it's a constant high, and then things aren't meeting that anymore. So I think the hard transition for me was kind of like coming out of that gradually over time, or like looking at my actions and behavior, and because some things are not healthy to get to get that feeling, and some things are perfectly healthy to get that feeling. But that was probably for me, that was one of the biggest transitions. And then I think overall, like I went from being on the number side, like not having the emotionally not going in either direction too much, to now I have twins as well. Actually, I was like Urszula's twin boys, and
Right.
when I had twins, we
Laughed at me because I had two kids, and then I was trying to have a third, and lo and behold, I'm going from two to four. So
Oh,
that was fun.
I did. I thought it was fun.
And when she decided,
I had kids.
she had twins, I got her back, and I said, "Well, both of our moms are there." Like, her to their stories.
Yeah, I think we both have two fraternal boys. So my sons, though, my anxiety, I have PTSD, and my anxiety about safety, right, can't be their anxiety. So how do you make sure, like, so I've been in the military for almost 20 years, but now I'm like, my sons are 9, they want to go up the street. That's perfectly normal, except I'm like, I can't see them and what's happening. And so do I stop them from doing that because it gives me anxiety, or do I let them develop naturally, like, and start to, so I think to your point about when things come out, and different triggers and everything else. And now I cry at the drop of a hat easily. USAA commercial. Sing your sentimental. Like those are really, they're a lot, right? So, but I do have terrible. So, I think it can come out at different times, and I think it can be a factor of environment, and everything else. So, It's still transitionally hard. I'm definitely not high risk now, like in comparison, right?
Yeah.
Don't have a motorcycle anymore. Got rid of it years ago. My sons don't even know I had a license.
It's like they could come back and say, "Well, mom had a heart."
Yeah. There are no pictures. That's right. Yes.
I'm trying to coexist. Yeah, I'm trying to coexist. I'm trying to coexist.